tell me a bit about Globe. What's its underlying mission?
So Globe was founded to mitigate the impact of modern living on the climate and ecological crises. We have set up an eco-centre in Uttoxeter, and it works with the community as well as, so that's individuals and residents, as well as the business community too. Both parts can make a real difference to how we live our lives and are part of that bigger solution.
So at the core of what you're doing is surely education on that account.
So there's three parts to it. There's awareness, so we do a lot of climate communications. You don't know what you don't know, so we need to make sure people are aware of the issues. Then we also run a range of green skills, carbon literacy. It's very much about giving people the tools they need to actually enable action. And then the action itself, the project delivery. We work with all different companies, all different people to try and deliver a just transition. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it's that phasing of that decarbonisation that benefits people, place and planet.
And in terms of Globe, how do you measure progress? When do you sit back and think, well, that went well?
When we're no longer needed.
It's a good answer, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, basically, I guess we're in it to put ourselves out of business. We are non-profit, but it is very much about, unfortunately, I don't think our work will ever be finished, but we know we're doing well when we're seeing people actually enabling themselves to do good things, not just reliant on us as an organisation, but they're taking that next step and really sort of expanding their horizons in terms of climate action.
In the last couple of years, we've seen climate breakdown coming home to roost. At least we've had the misfortune to watch it on our televisions in other parts of the world, fires, floods and so on and so forth. Have you noticed an influence on the public and the businesses that you're working with? Has that enhanced their appetite for trying to put things right?
I think it's mixed reaction, to be honest, because some businesses and people and individuals, they understand that's related. Others, even in our own sector, haven't quite drawn the links yet. So I think, again, there's a bigger education piece that needs to take place around people understanding how it all fits together, this bigger puzzle. But I think the problem is people are scared of a big picture and a big problem like that, so we try and break it down, small steps. You can do what you can do, but you can do a lot, and this is really the essence of what we're trying to get across.
I mean, climate breakdown, as we see with increased temperatures, sea level rise, so on and so forth, is very much now at the forefront of the public conversation, political conversation. Obviously, I'm going to say, what about biodiversity loss? What about nature? You know, we need nature because it supplies all of our food, for instance, at a very fundamental level. Are people lagging on that, and do you try and drive them towards a better connection with the natural world?
Absolutely. I think there's, you cannot get away. They are intrinsically linked. We are part of nature. It's like saying taking away oxygen for us. It's just part and parcel of how we live. But I think we've modernised so quickly as a species that we've not really realised that we're stepping away from what is natural, and actually we need to support a natural world so that it can in turn support us to continue living. But we cannot continue living the way we are because we are ruining things, and there's so much more that we can do in our lives, in our work, that will actually offer green opportunities. So our lives may be different, but they may not be worse, they'll be better.
The Expo is running today. Big event, lots to organise, I'm sure. Bit of an aftermath, I can imagine you'll try and take the weekend off. But what comes next?
We have our annual event here, and this will obviously happen next year as well. So when we finish planning this one, we start moving on to the next one. But equally, we also have our Climate Carnival, which is aimed at families and individuals and bringing neighbours together to basically celebrate positive climate stories, as well as have a bit of fun on the day. And we have a junk orchestra, and we have all sorts of different foods available, and it's great fun. And it really, as I say, brings people together to actually celebrate a problem or a solution rather than focus on it as a problem.
Okay, one last question. Imagine you're monarch for a minute. You can make one decision. What would you do to make the biggest immediate difference?
That's a big question.
It is.
I think if I was monarch, I would I would stop fossil fuels. I think that's the only thing we can do. We need to stop fossil fuels. Burning fossil fuels is the reason we're in this mess. So we need to stop fossil fuels.
Good answer from the man running nonewoil.com. I mean, that transition away from fossil fuels to renewables, and it's notable that there's a windmill spinning behind your head at this point, is something which we have the capability of doing. It would generate enormous amounts of work, job, future stability, economic for communities and so on and so forth. We could be world leaders if we were just going to get on with it. Wouldn't it be good if we were the world leaders when it came to some form of renewable energies?
I think the UK can do so much more than it's doing at the moment. And as I've discussed with many people, we don't have to wait for the government to put policy out or wait for legislation. We can start now. We've already started. I mean, we're here today at Keele University. It's the University of Sustainability. They've got a smart energy network demonstrator in the background here. They're doing it already. They're looking at what can be put in place in terms of decarbonising the grid. And I think it's really important that we look at these brilliant case studies that are around, particularly in Staffordshire as well, and learn from them and replicate them. There's no need to wait.
No. If we wait, we'll wait too long. It's up to us, isn't it? We've got to do things ourselves now. We've got to stand up and be counted and make that difference. That's the key thing. Anyway, look, top work.
Thank you.
Look forward to getting to grips with the rest of the expo.